Here I'm going to be showing you how to wrap a soft hackle or use a partridge feather to make a soft hackle fly. It can be a very difficult thing to do, especially since partridge feathers are fairly small. They can be difficult to handle, but there are a couple tricks to wrapping a soft hackle and preparing your feather. First thing that you're going to do is you're going to rip off all the downy portion of your partridge feather. So you're down to just the nice fine pieces of partridge, which is going to make our legs on our fly. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take all these fibers and you're going to stroke them backwards, exposing the tip of the partridge feather and the quill. You want to do get as much as the tip of the partridge feather as you can exposed, as you can see there. If you don't, then you'll have some of the longer portions of the partridge feather exposed, which if you're tying a small soft hackle, you want to use these very tip portions. So I try to strip it down as far as I can. You can wet your fingers if that helps. Now you can see this feather has a curve to it. I want to tie this feather in with the curve down, that way all the fibers lay backwards nice. I don't want to tie it in facing forward because then all the fibers will face away from the head of the fly. So what I do is I take this fine tip, I'm just going to tie it in facing down right here at the head of the fly. Do so very carefully. And make sure to put down a few wraps. Now if you're scared you're going to bump your thread or something in the process, you could put a half hitch in here or even whip finish at this stage to keep the feather from being bumped. And what you do is you just clip out the excess. Then you have just that little portion of partridge feather. Now the next thing is just to use a pair of hackle pliers. Some guys will use their hands here, but I like to use a pair of hackle pliers that are not serrated. You can see my hackle plier tips here are smooth. And we're just going to clip into the base of this feather. Now before we make a wrap, I'm going to wet my fingers just a little bit. I'm going to take all these fibers, I'm going to gently stroke them backwards. This kind of coaxes them into place. Then I'll make my first wrap. Then I'll do the same thing. I'll just gently stroke them backwards. Do the same thing again. That just kind of helps manage those feathers and those barbs and put them right into place, right where I want them. Then you can capture the quill with your thread. Once you have it captured, I'm going to wrap back without pinching the fibers. I'm going to wrap back up onto the fly ever so slightly, and I do so with thread tension. If I was to pinch them like this and wrap back on it, it will mat them all down and force them down. Doing it with just thread tension will cause them to flare out more and keep them in perfect position and won't cause them to roll or lay down. Once you've wrapped back 3 or 4 turns, you can simply just whip finish. And you're all finished. Now here I don't have the rest of the fly done. I was just kind of demonstrating how to wrap the soft hackle, but of course your fly would have a tail, a body, everything like that. But that is how you do perfect soft hackles every time. It's all about feather preparation, getting that partridge feather ready to go by stripping off the soft downy stuff, stroking those fibers backwards away from the tip as much as possible, and then just being careful when you wrap, lick those fingers and coax those fibers into place. So that's how you do perfect soft hackles every time.